This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping the foot on the what on the yeeks. We keeping the foot on the what on the yeeks. And like the Tibetan master that I am, I'm applying what unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? Eat bursts pipes. Let's talk about it, man. Kobe Bean Bryant, slam dunk giant. We have to talk about what Kobe Bryant meant to the game of basketball. A lot of people don't understand this, man, but Kobe Bryant is basically the quintessential definition of hard work. When we think of two athletes that have embodied sports, we think of Floyd Mayweather, right? Hard work, dedication. There's another athlete that has embodied the terminology hard work, and that's Kobe Bryant. If you listen to Kobe Bryant, there's interviews from this kid when he was 17 years old to the grown man that you saw before you when he passed away at 41 years old. This is 24 years of Kobe Bryant basically uttering the same terminology, uttering the same word, uttering the same verbiage. And you want to know what that was? It's all about the hard work. When Kobe Bryant was talked about in the likes of guys that were basically top players, guys that were number one draft players, guys that were just like in the upper echelon, they asked Kobe in an interview at 17 years old, and I put it in the background, and then I put in the background Kobe Bryant, you know, as an elder statesman, a guy that arrived in the NBA. And he came to the same conclusion. Hard work. It's about building yourself. It's about taking yourself over the top. It's about basically allowing yourself to hit that next gear, hit that next wave, hit that next, what we would say, pivotal moment in what we would call your basketball career, your basketball lineage, your basketball ideologies, your basketball mindset, your basketball way of seeing things. When we think of Kobe Bean Bryant, we think of a slam dunk giant. When we think of Kobe Bean Bryant, we think of a guy that has persevered through all of the hatred that he got, all of the naysayers, all of the people that said that he would not amount to anything. This is a guy that came fresh out of high school. This is why I have no ounce of slacking. I don't want to hear no excuses from a Kwame Brown of the world. We hear people justify Kwame Brown was a guy that played in the NBA for 12 years. And he made $65 million. How is that a failure? Are we talking basketball, or are we talking about money earned? Even failures can earn money. See, this is the problem with people. They don't understand this. Everybody can get a paycheck. That's just like at your job. Just because a person is underperforming at a job, does that mean that when the 2 weeks come around, they don't get paid? No, they're going to fucking get paid. Regardless if they're performing or not, they're going to get paid. So when did somebody getting a paycheck was the determination or the determining factor of somebody basically being a success? This is what their justification for Kwame Brown. I've seen it. I looked at the comment sections, man. It's pathetic. It's despicable. It's basically showcasing the epidemic of most people in this modern day society. They don't prescribe to anything. In this video, I'm just going to be straight. He knows everything. There's not going to be no soliloquies. There's not going to be no, catchphrases. It's just going to be straight talking to you, man. When we sit here and we look at the Kwame Browns of the world, we see a guy that did not maximize his full potential. Kwame Brown is a basketball player that did not reach the peak of what he could have reached if he was willing to be pushed. I heard the truth come out of Kwame Brown's mouth when I listened to him. He said that Jordan pissed him off plenty of times. That confirmed everything that He Knows Everything told you guys. And He Knows Everything was basically explaining to you guys in totality, in absolution and in resolution, that Kwame Brown is as soft as cottonelle tissue papers, man. This guy doesn't want to be pushed. This guy didn't want to be pushed to greatness personification. But what did we tell you guys about greatness personification? Greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. So when we sit here and look at Kobe Bryant, we look at the pedigree of the person that he was. Kobe Bryant wasn't even a number 1 draft pick. Kobe Bryant was draft number 13. And look at the mindset this guy had. Michael Jordan was draft number 3. Look at the mindsets that they have. Now everybody say everybody can't be a Michael Jordan and everybody can't be a Kobe Bryant. Well, that's true because everybody can't have the ideologies and the mindsets that these guys have. But that doesn't mean that they can't aspire to get it. Because at the end of the day, it's all about mindset. The good book says that God hasn't given you a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and of a sound mind. That means everyone has the ability to reason critically, effectively, and powerfully. Let me say it again. Everyone has the ability to reason critically, effectively, and powerfully. This is the same case with Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown basically didn't put in the work. And now Kwame Brown is on a song cry of expecting basketball fans, of expecting what we would say modern day losers and failures to get behind this losers champions loser song cry of him not achieving and attaining what he should have achieved and attained. If you're going to talk about it from a monetary standpoint, even with that, Kwame Brown is a failure. And the reason why is because typically, historically, in basketball, guys that are number 1 draft picks, they at the low end, especially for 12 years, they collect over $100 million. You guys are looking at the longevity of it. It looks good when you say 12 years and $65 million. But then you got to sit there and actually do the math behind that. What is 12 divided by 60? That's 5 million. And if you fractionize the shit, it's what? 5 over 12. When we sit there and look at that, that's just basically a little over $5 million a year. That's what a league minimum is, dog. You see how when we sit here and we break it down to an annual average, it showcases to you guys that even in the money department, Kwame Brown is a failure. Because $5.5 million is what league minimum veterans get, dog. That's not what NBA superstars get. NBA superstars at the highest fucking levels, these guys, they command 15 million and upwards. They're in the 20 millions. And now with the way the NBA is booming with salaries and stuff like that, you might as well say guys that are Kwame Brown-esque. And when I say Kwame Brown-esque, I'm not talking about what Kwame Brown became. I'm talking about the potential of what a Kwame Brown can be. Let me say it again. I'm not talking about what Kwame Brown is. I'm talking about the potential of what a Kwame Brown could be. Number 1 NBA draft pick. These guys command $30 to $40 million a year easily, man. And religiously, effectively. This is not even a thing that you question. This is not even a thing that you argue. This is not even a thing that you make basically causation for. See, it's cute to say 12 years and 65 million. You look at the whole picture number, 65 million. 65 million in a whole picture number sounds great. But when you break it down in 12 years, that's league minimum that Kwame Brown averaged. So you know what that tells you? That tells you that Kwame Brown underperformed even in the money department for him to be a number 1 draft pick. You see how he knows everything was able to go right through and play chess over the checkers and explain to you guys why Kwame Brown is not where he needed to be at? Well, now we're going to contextualize it and bring it back to Kobe. Kobe was nowhere near number 1 pick. But he worked his butt off as if he was number 1. Hard work is not something that you need to be a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant to have. Hard work is something that you have to have because it's something that basically you're getting off your ass to do. Anybody can put in hard work. Hard work is not a discriminatory thing. You don't need to be wired a certain way to put in hard work. You just got to put in hard work. That's just like improving on your craft. You don't need to be a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant to improve on your craft. You just need to have the willpower and the determination to improve on your craft. Kwame Brown didn't have neither of these traits. So when I hear people say that Kwame Brown is a success, success is relative to the person who deems success as success. Dropping gems and jewels, man. Y'all need to relax for a second and pay attention to what he knows everything is telling you guys. Success is relative to the person, the eye of the beholder, and how they see success is. But the standard of success, the overall, basically Moses bearing of what success is, standard bearizing of success, this is simple and relative to where the person is positioned. Kwame Brown was a #1 draft pick in the NBA. So I want you guys to ask yourselves these questions. And then you formulate your own answers. But you got to be honest with yourself. Don't give me what you think. Give me honesty. Do you believe that 12 years and $65 million is reminiscent of someone who is a #1 draft pick? I really want to hear you guys' opinion on that. The other question that I have, Kwame Brown in his basketball career, be honest with yourself. Does his basketball career showcase someone that you can look up to? Someone that you could say, this was absolutely, unquestionably, and without fail a winner. This is what winning personification is all about. This is greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. If you tell me that that's the way you see it, then I'm going to tell you that the way that you see things is from a mediocre standpoint. That you're basically a lover of mediocrity. Because when we sit here and look at Kwame Brown and what Kwame Brown is made up of, we don't see a winner. We don't see thesis in college being basically used as a staple for Kwame Brown. They don't do that. Because Kwame Brown quit when the going was getting tough. Do you want somebody like that in the foxhole? Do you want somebody like that to, if all else fails, to basically defend you if you got to go to war? Or do you want a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant to do that? See, these are the underlying questions and the undercurrent truths that folks have to ask themselves in its most cold-hearted, in its most unadulterated, and in its most cutthroat truth-teller fashion. Kwame Brown failed. Kwame Brown is a failure. There's nothing about Kwame Brown that basically represents success. Now, a lot of people got he knows everything twisted. They think I'm defending all of these people. I'm not defending nobody. Because he knows everything don't know Charlemagne the God. I done told you guys, he's a pure beta supreme. I'm not defending Matt Barnes or Steven Jackson. They're a bunch of pure beta supremes. Just look at the moves they've made. I'm not defending Jamel Hill. I've been very critical on her. But what I did say, and even Stephen A. Smith, I've called him Stephen A. Snake, been very critical of him. But what I said is, even those folks have obtained levels of succession higher than Kwame Brown in their respective genre of their occupations. Regardless what people want to say. No matter how you feel about somebody, what you can't do is you can't run away from the truth. Because the truth hurts, but it will set you free. And those whom the truth set free are free indeed. Kwame Brown is not a model example of what success looks like. He's not a model example of what winning is all about. Kwame Brown is a model example of failure. When we look at Kobe Bryant, we see hard work. We see success. We see a basketball player that worked tirelessly on his craft to get the job done. That's somebody you look up to. That's somebody you want to emulate. That's the Mamba mentality that you want to prescribe to. You see, he knows everything told you guys a long time ago. There were a lot of people on this planet that were not really Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant fans. Because to be a Michael Jordan and a Kobe Bryant fan, you have to understand that the straight and narrow is what it is, the straight and narrow road. Not many people can stay on that straight and narrow. But the broad and the wide, which leads to destruction, many people thereof have found it. And many people have revealed themselves as fake Michael Jordan fans. They've revealed themselves as fake Kobe Bean Bryant fans because they're not really fans of these guys. They're fans of the ideal of these guys. It's cute to say, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, both of these guys represented an ideal of what winning was all about. Both of these guys represented, you really have to persevere. You really have to push. You really have to, unction yourself to get to the next level. You really have to, channel greatness. A lot of people think that way. But in actuality, when it's all said and done, and we ask ourselves these underlying questions and we ask ourselves these underlying truths, the conclusion that we come to? The conclusion that we get to? The understanding that we formulate? The thought process that we come to? You understand the mindset that we end up having? You understand the ideals that are formulated? You understand the way that we see things? You understand our thought process behind this ideal, behind it? That when it's all said and done, a lot of these people were popping smoke. They were not about that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bean Bryant life. Because you know why? The straight and narrow life is a hard life, man. It's a winner's life. Winners have to deal with a rarity of it being a hard knock life. Jay-Z talked about this. Hard knock life is for those who are willing to endure the hard knock life. Now, although hard work is not exclusive to a special club, this is what makes the special club a special club, because they are willing each and every single day to put in the dedication, the discipline, and the determination. Let me say it again. The dedication, the discipline, and the determination to showcase the full product of what hard work is all about. Discipline is everything, man. I gotta say that one again. Discipline is everything. When we sit here and look at Kwame Brown, he is not the example of discipline. What he's the example of is a guy that underachieved and is on a song cry to get affirmation. People that seek affirmation is because they have failed at something, and now they're seeking other failures and losers' support so that they can justify their failing ways. This is what we get with Kwame Brown. I know this is not popular opinion. I know this is not popular, cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat, truth-telling fashion. But it is. Because what's popular about it is the fact that the truth hurts, but it will set you free. That's a popular terminology. And it's popular in the sense that it's painting a picture of what Kwame Brown's reality was. Kwame Brown was a failure, man. Kwame Brown was not a success. You see, even when we broke down the numbers, $5.5 million, even if we're being cute and giving him the upper end of that, that is not number one NBA draft material earnings. You get that in what? Your baby contract? But this is what he averaged the life of his NBA career. That's not even average. Because an average player, let me explain what an average player is. An average player is what Trevor Ariza is. Kwame Brown is so far removed from that, it's not even funny. Kwame Brown was below average. So why are people celebrating a below average performer? You know why? Because they are below average in their lives. See, this is what it boils down to. You got to look at the bigger picture here. This is not about Kwame Brown. It was never about Kwame Brown. It's about the fact that losers and failures want to identify with winning. Everyone wants to identify with winning. Everyone wants to be a winner. Everyone wants to have a winning mentality. Everyone wants to say that I won at something, even when they've lost. Whew. Y'all not catching it, man. This is going over a lot of people's heads. Everyone wants to say that they are a winner. Everyone wants to say that they've won at something, even when they are known as a bona fide loser and a bona fide scrub. Stephen A. Smith, whether you like him or not, it's no less true that he called Kwame Brown a bona fide scrub. He was well within his right to say that, because Stephen A. Smith, love or hate him, I don't too much care for him, is a success as a broadcaster, is a success as a journalist. He earned every bit of what he put in. Even though he was snakery about it, he earned it because he put in the work. This guy would wake up 4 a.m., 5 a.m., go and do ESPN First Takes, go and do Stephen A. Smith radio show. He showed a lot of alpha-like tendencies in his craft. Whether you like him or not, he's a success in his craft. You can't name too many people in his craft that's commanding high seven figures. That's because this guy put in the work to do that. Steven Jackson, I'm not the biggest fan of him, man. He's a very big hypocrite. But Steven Jackson's NBA career, his earnings, what he was able to accomplish far supersedes Kwame Brown, and he's not even a number one pick. Matt Barnes, the same thing. Far removed, far cry from number one. Pure beta supreme at the highest levels. But he attained succession on a higher level than Kwame Brown. Jamel Hill, I'm not a fan of hers. But this African American woman has broke a lot of barriers as a black female. And we say we want to bring up our black women. We want to show them respect. We want to show them value. Well, I'm going to do that. Even though I don't care too much of what she stands for, I am going to say that she has reached successions because she has done things to showcase that she is a success in her own right. So we're not going to sit here and act like these things didn't happen. Charlemagne the God. This guy right here is so hypocritical, it's not even funny. Pure beta supreme. But something has to be said for him being on radio TV as long as he's been on radio TV. To be an underling of Wendy Williams. You see, and I'm going to compare this. He was an underling of Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams would be considered a female Michael Jordan in radio. Star Report would be considered a male Michael Jordan. Charlemagne the God went up under her, and Charlemagne the God took it and ran with it. He could have been lazy. He could have been soft as cotton meal tissue paper. He could have not basically pushed himself forward. But something has to be said for that. What credentials does Kwame Brown have in his respective profession, which is basketball, not a YouTuber, basketball, that's his profession. What does he have there that identifies as succession? What does he have there that identifies as winning? I'll wait for that one. No. We got a double Hulk Hogan now. I'll wait for that one. Until you guys can really, realistically tell me what this guy has done at that level to showcase to me that he is a success, to showcase to me that he deserves every level that he belongs on, then you're going to have to stop the presses. You're going to have to pump the brakes on the nonsense. And you're going to have to go sit down somewhere and what? You got to higgity hush. Because when it's all said and done, Kwame Brown did not reach the level that Kwame Brown could have reached if he would have just sat there and took it from Michael Jordan. When someone sees greatness in you, they will push you. And they're going to push you like you've never been pushed before. C.T. Fletcher talked about this, man. The pussification of a nation. Let C.T. Fletcher say it and let him say it again. The pussification of a nation. C.T. Fletcher talked about it. What are you? Are you beast? or are you fucking bitch? That's the question. Are you a beast or are you a fucking bitch? Kwame Brown has showcased bitch-like tendencies in his NBA career. To have the double caveat of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. The type of personality that I am, and I know a lot of people who have the mindsets that I have in a lot of ways. And when I say the mindset, I'm talking about that mindset to want to push and have the drive and to aspire. There are plenty of people that have that. There's not a lot of them, but plenty. I could probably count maybe 1,000 people on this planet, which is not many compared to 8 billion, but I'm talking about in our little remnant circle. There's plenty of them that think like that. Always wanting to push over. Always wanting to get over the hump. Never satisfied at the levels you're at. Always trying to get more. Always trying to aspire with more. Always trying to succeed. Always trying to get over to the next hump. Thinking about different ways to really stand out. I have a lot of things in the works, man. Partnership that if it pans out, don't be surprised you see me on TV. Because he knows everything is always thinking outside the box. Never satisfied where he's at. I could sit there and be satisfied and say, man, I'm living a pretty good, comfortable life financially. But comfort and stagnance brings you into a place of regression. Kwame Brown is satisfied with the ideal that he failed Michael Jordan. Kwame Brown is satisfied with the ideal that he failed Kobe Bryant. And if people say they prescribe to these schools of thoughts, the Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant school of thought, which is the ultimate school of competitive thoughts. Remember, these guys are studied in college and in universities. They're studied in thesis. In college, they call it the Mamba mentality. In college, they call it be like Mike. They both have their thesis. They both have their curriculums. And you know why? Because these guys are the standard bearers of what success means on any sports level. You're not going to find two higher competitors than these guys. Floyd Mayweather as well too. Earl the True Spence, but you know, you got to keep building on the damn resume. He ain't there yet. You could throw in Tom Brady. You could throw in Tiger Woods. There's a lot of people that you can throw in, man. Phil Mickelson doesn't get enough credit, but he should be thrown into that. This man just won a PGA championship at 50 years old. This is a guy that a lot of people said, man, you are done. Stick a fork in it. He didn't believe that. And if he did believe that, he wouldn't be in the position that he's in today. See, people have to understand excellence, standard of excellence, success. It's not something that you get all jovial about and just say that we're just going to be successful. No. It's something that you got to push forward towards. It's something that you got to push hard to. It's something that you got to channel greatness personification behind it. And you know why? Because greatness requires sacrifice, man. It requires sacrifice of your mind. It requires sacrifice of your body. It requires sacrifice of your soul. It requires sacrifice of your spirit. You gotta literally shed blood, sweat, and tears. Kwame Brown wasn't willing to shed no damn blood. Kwame Brown wasn't willing to shed no damn spirit. And he damn sure wasn't willing to shed no damn tears. Kwame Brown is the quintessential example of why losers and failures justify losing and failing. Let me say it again. Kwame Brown is the quintessential example of why losers and failures justify losing and failing. Because when you're a loser and a failure, you will always justify your losing and failing ways. Notice they always got all the excuses in the book. Michael Jordan, he didn't make me cry. Why do you have to tell us that? That's projection. That means it actually did happen. You're just now trying to project and say that it didn't happen. Come on, man. I work in the mental health field. I know these things. Kwame Brown don't fool me, because I can see right through him. The sermon of he knows everything is off the damn charts. And what I'm seeing is fake bravado. This is a guy that once he gets to where he needs to get to, he's going to sell out. Believe me when I tell you this. Because this is what losers and failures do. They basically try to unseat the ones that have criticized him for 20 years. Kwame Brown is mad because for 20 years, he's been told that he's a loser and a failure. And you guys gotta understand, I don't mean to laugh, but I got to. Even losers and failures, after a while, have to revolt. If everyone knows, he knows everything, whether it was YouTube collabs or whether it was people that dealt with me. After a while, people got annoyed with me. You know why? Because I am like Michael Jordan. I will annoy you. I'm competitive. I'm a competitor at the highest level. I challenge people for greatness. Because I feel that anybody that's around me, anyone that's affiliating with me, anyone that's doing anything with me, you got to be pushing yourself to excellence too. This is the same gift and a curse that a Michael Jordan and a Kobe Bryant have. This is the same thing I have. We're always pushing for greatness personification. But greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. That's not what Kwame Brown is, man. I know what greatness is. I know what it looks like. Kwame Brown is nothing like that. Kwame Brown never pushed for that. Kwame Brown never exemplified that. Kwame Brown never exacted his mind to that. Kwame Brown never put himself in that position to be that. You know what Kwame Brown always positioned himself for? He positioned himself to accept mediocrity, to accept being comfortable, to accept the fact that it's okay for him to be stable in his current predicament. And that's why he only made $65 million out of 12 years of an NBA career. That's why he got mad every time Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant got in his stuff. That's why he was soft as cottonelle tissue papers. That's why he was a guy that didn't prescribe to excellence. Kobe Bryant is the standard of hard work, man. People don't understand that. Kobe's what? 3 years older than me? Michael Jordan is about what? Shit. They're almost 20 years. I say about 18, 19, 18 years older than me. These are guys, man, I would be learning at their feet. I would be learning at their tutorship. I'd push them too, because what they would realize with me is I'm wired just as much as they are. But I would defer, because these guys are older and they've been there and they've done that. It would be more like what Kobe did to Jordan. It'd be something like that, where I would lash you up and I would not think that I'm second to no damn body, because he knows everything ain't second to no damn body. Anybody that knows his platform and knows he knows everything knows that. Second to no damn body. But it's like Kobe. Kobe took from Jordan. Kobe learned from Jordan, because what he saw was that Jordan was the older version of him. And it behooved him to learn from that, because that means this guy's been there and done that. See, that's the smart thing to do. People got to be smart. A lot of people are not smart. A lot of people are not willing to put in work. A lot of people are not willing to basically showcase the terminology of what this video is all about. Hard work and dedication. People hate hard work. People hate dedication. They love the idea of it. They love the cuteness of it. They love the way it sounds. But they're not willing to do what is necessary from a sacrificing standpoint to get it done. That was Kwame Brown. This is all of the people that support Kwame Brown. So you guys can say what you want. When all of y'all go this way and into the broad and the wide path that leads to destruction, he knows everything got to stay on the straight and narrow and go that way. This is what alpha males at the highest levels do. They cut against the grain. And they're not afraid. They don't apologize for it. And they don't need no favors in doing it. This is probably the longest video I've done, man. But I have to break this thing down. When we look at Kobe Bryant and we look at Kwame Brown, we see a fundamental difference between two ideologies from a basketball standpoint and from a life standpoint. Kobe never gave up. Kobe never quit. Kobe Bryant was always working. Even after he left the game, he was like, what's next? This is what greatness is all about. I know greatness. So if you guys know this to be true about a Michael Jordan and a Kobe being Bryant, how can you support the mediocrity of a Kwame Brown? It's because these people were never Michael Jordan and Kobe Bean Bryant fans in the first place. They love the ideal of it, but they don't love the ugliness of it. They don't love the hard work of it. If you go look in the comment sections in these Kwame Brown videos, Michael Jordan was hard on everybody. That's people that don't like people pushing them. Michael Jordan was an asshole. That's people that don't like people pushing them. Kobe Bryant, I ain't gonna lie, man. I love him as a basketball player, and I started loving him towards the end, but Kobe Bryant was an asshole, man. Kobe Bryant was hard. That's people that don't love people pushing them. Because people that love to be pushed, people that love to be, what we shall say, take it to the next level, people that love hard work and dedication, people that love everything that has to do with putting in work, they're not going to ever sit here and ever make excuses for hard work. They just going to go in there and put the motherfucker in. This is what Kwame Brown represents. A guy making excuses, justifying excuses, and just because you getting after people, you supposedly think that you're ethering and murking people. He knows everything is an expert at ethering, murking, and napalming. What Kwame Brown is doing is not ethering. What Kwame Brown is doing is not murking. What Kwame Brown is doing is not napalming. What Kwame Brown is doing is what's called capping. Losers and failures do this thin line. You just like the thin line between love and hate. You know how there's a thin line between them? Losers and failures do this thin line between capping and think that capping is ethering, murking, and napalming, when in actuality it's capping. But let me tell you something about capping. Capping has a shelf life. You see, right now, they talking about Kwame Brown. I guarantee you tomorrow, and when I say tomorrow, meaning it's not going to be a permanent thing, they're not going to be talking about Kwame Brown. You know who they're going to be talking about? They're going to be talking about how Kwame Brown basically gassed us all up, made us think that he was getting after these people only to sell out. I'm telling you, this is going to be his legacy. But when you look at Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, you can say what you want. Love or hate them. Their legacy is of competition. Their legacy is of greatness. Their legacy is of striving for perfection, even though it's something that's unattainable. But you leave it to them, they're going to keep striving until they can't. That's the delineation. That's the distinction. That's the golf. And that's the separation between what truly winning is all about from a Michael Jordan and a Kobe Bryant standpoint to losing and failing from a Kwame Brown standpoint. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.